what you got prepared for us is something special.
Yeah, so let's take a little trip down memory lane. Steven Crowder, the wife controlling, you don't get the car, pregnant wife, that guy.
Horrifying video.
People might remember that Ring video. Well, back when he was a little tot, making his first YouTube video, was a video called "Go Team Israel," featuring Obama's moves. So Zionism and homophobia, two elements let's keep an eye on for this segment here. But here is Steven Crowder early on, is putting down where he falls on the Israel-Palestine question.
And what I want to know is, where's Barack Obama?
And we should just say this is right before Obama takes office, during Cast Lead, where Israel was just shelling Gaza. I'm not really sure what he wanted Obama to do. Like, I would have probably been like, hey, can you tell Israel to stop? Israel, of course, stopped like right at the inauguration because they're very calibrated to American politics. So they saw, we got lame Doug Bush. Let's blow through some of this ammunition. Norm Finkelstein has a good talk on that. Maybe I'll link to in the post game after the show here.
And what I want to know is, where's Barack Obama's stance in all of this? Has anyone seen a statement? I mean, this man's going to be the leader of the free world in the next, 16 days? Is he too busy airbrushing out his six-pack on the beaches of Hawaii? That's another thing. Why was Barack Obama in People's or Star Magazine's top 10 list of haughty celebrity physiques? Barack Obama has the worst kind of body possible. Skinny fat. He is a man who manages to keep a very small, unattractively frail stature while maintaining virtually zero muscle mass whatsoever. I guess those cigarettes are catching up with him. Here's to hoping you don't fall off the wagon again, big guy. In case some of you out there don't know where I stand, go Team Israel! To Israel, listen, despite current trends or political winds, just know that you guys have some serious allies here in the States, and we love you, we support you, and Godspeed.
That's really good.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, really.
I gotta say, like, it's gross. A lot of the actual anti-Semitism you see on the right. But I must say, like, seeing this guy's fan base be split between the America First asterisk that includes Israel as well. I'm here to watch him try to navigate this. Now, in 2024, it's a little bit different. As Crowder mentioned, the political tides have turned a little bit, and the word genocide is being actively used. We're in the midst of the worse violence than the Nakba itself. I think when you look at the raw numbers of people being killed, displaced. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think I heard Alain Pape say that on Democracy Now! This morning. Here is Steven Crowder today talking about this ICC report, and he's a little bit more muted in his support for Israel here. And I will just say the title for this episode is one, Joe Rogan thinks Jesus is fake, LMAO. And that was a very boring discussion about the historicity of Jesus, I must say, even at 5 times speed. And then International Criminal Court gayness explained. So here is Steven Crowder talking about International Criminal Court gayness.
Wow, get in line.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's go to the ICC here, because this has been trending, and I know what a lot of you are thinking. Should I care? Should I be concerned? I'll be truthful here. Not so much. But
why are you putting it in the headline of your show and closing the show with it then? That would be an interesting question, I would say. Like, my answer is yeah, and it's good and based that it happened. So we have differing perspectives on the ICC, but let's hear Crowder out.
You should be concerned with the possibility of a rogue administration giving unwarranted and unfettered power to an international criminal court that really has no business even existing. So if you thought that the UN was bad, and it is, it sucks. The International Criminal Court, the ICC for short, you'll be hearing me say that quite a bit, is is even more useless.
Yeah.
It's legit as those college courts they were yelling about 2 weeks ago.
Yes. That's probably what it is. The ICC is a phoenix. It's the perfect encapsulation of this joke that is liberal internationalism, which of course is on everyone's minds because Schwab just stepped down from the WF, or he announced that he's going to step down.
Eventually, someday.
Pulled a Jay Leno.
Yeah.
So, and the reason it was trending is because on Monday, this International Criminal Court issued
Oh, geez.
arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as a Hamas leader. I think it's Yahya Sinwar, if I pronounce that incorrectly.
Another Israeli, Galant, was also a warrant applied for, and 2 other Hamas figures. So not just Bibi and this one guy. Despite Crowder was like, I put the notes in the description. Go check the notes. See, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Look, this is a useless person, just like the ICC is a useless organization.
On the basis of evidence collected and examined and analyzed by my office, I have reasonable grounds to believe that 3...
Now, what we're going to get here is only surface level stuff. Only the aesthetic. We're only responding to what does this look like to me?
Wait,
not what is the
what?
significance? What's a historicity of this? We're going to just like as if it's like a painting by someone we don't like. We're going to just pick it apart.
leaders of Hamas.
He looks
Yahya
like
Sinwar.
a guy who would be an actor who you've
Muhammad
seen in a lot of movies, who you don't know, but you
Ismail
recognize
Haniyeh.
and say, I've seen him in a lot of movies.
Criminal responsibility.
He sounds like
The following
he's doing an
international
Anthony
crimes
Hopkins.
Yes.
committed on the territory of Israel.
Look at the lady's frown.
Devastated
She's just like,
Palestine.
Dude, it
From at
that
least
frown
7th
is
of October.
upside down.
I wonder what the appropriate facial expression is for announcing that you are seeking a warrant for the arrest of people doing war crimes. Should it? I mean, look a little bit chipper. I don't know.
yeah.
That is an upside down
2023.
smile.
Yes.
I can also confirm
She's like, do I have to
Today.
be here?
that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected,
She's the
and examined
butler
by
of
my
the
office.
Haunted Mansion.
that Israeli Prime Minister
Reminds me of Brian
Benjamin
Cox.
Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility.
The amount of self-importance that
I thought that it looks like.
I'm sorry.
Self-important.
Self-importance. Oh, yeah, no, it's kind of like it's kind of like he's levying the charges of mass slaughter genocide against the leaders of a major nation like Israel. I don't know. Kind of like a moment with a little bit of importance or gravitas is expected.
These self-important Nuremberg trial folks. Look at them acting like what they're doing is so significant. Since the guy with a gun on his desk.
Well, that's the thing is like, psychologically for all these folks, it's like they do just have to operate at such a level of disassociation with reality, right? With morality, with the consequences of people's actions, right? With the actual moral weight of these kind of questions and moments. That, yeah, I mean, everything is funny if you treat it as a joke, right?
I thought that it looks like a fake video. Like it looks like something that people would be watching on TV in a movie.
It's like
Like the dad would be in the kitchen making eggs while the kids are playing, and that's playing. He's like, "Hey, kids, quiet down. The world is ending."
And now, I'll just remind folks that this was titled International Criminal Court Gayness Explained. We are a full two-thirds of the way through this explanation, and this is the riff we're on.
It looked like the
deep
speaker.
impact.
The speaker was standing in between the couple from American Gothic,
Yes.
getting divorced. They both look grumpy. They look like the people in the photo.
Oh my gosh, he's like, by evidence obtained and reviewed by my office that nobody cares about.
His office is a van.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have lighting for him, it's like,
Well, the ICC he issued these arrest warrants for both sides.
yeah.
Okay, and the ICC also has arrest warrants for Vladimir Putin, for Nuruddin Adam, which is the rebel leader of the Central African Republic.
I love the last name Adam.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
I'm sure they're going to get right on that. It's like, we have issued arrest warrants. Fine.
Good for you.
No arrest warrants for some reason for the leadership of Hezbollah, the Ayatollah, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping. No arrest warrants. So this is all politically motivated. It's kind of like an international clickbait committee, only they want the ability to violate international law to be able to do they think they're going to be able to extradite
Actually, let me finish this.
people?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's like a hey, we have a arrest warrant. Could somebody go get him for us?
Yes.
It's like they think Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to call him up. Hey, I don't know his.
In fact, there's been numerous people arrested just earlier this evening. Let's see, I got this tweet. The Spectator Index tweeted out this. Norway's foreign minister says if there is an arrest warrant against Netanyahu and Gallant from the Hague court, we will have to arrest them if they arrive in Norway. So, yeah, actually, there's a reason. You can. There's two things being said. One, it's meaningless, and one, like if it's so meaningless, why Putin should travel to Paris, see what happens, right? Right? This is letting Bibi not travel. That is awesome. Here is Israeli Haaretz editor-writer Gideon Levy, talking about his view. And, let's just contrast this with the learned view of the Crowder morons.
An Israeli prime minister will or might become wanted in all kinds of corners of the world and will be prevented of traveling must have an effect. It's unprecedented. It was never the case, for sure not in a country which is supposed to be a democracy, which considers itself as a democracy. And you have to see the overall picture. It's not one case. It's an overall picture in which the world, the entire world, more and more so, more loudly and more clearly tells Israel enough.
Yeah, and I'll also this is Karim Khan, who, by the way, was Israel's choice for this position, was a preferred candidate. That's reported like 2 years ago when he assumed the role. Here's him. Crowder says, what's the use of this? We actually can see what the use should be. And maybe even, and the guy Khan is referencing here is rumored to be Lindsey Graham, who met with him. And you'll hear what the sort of actual reason, like if it's so useless, why did America tolerate it to operate in the world? It's because it actually did provide a use. For instance, going after warlords in Africa that we didn't like, for instance. And now the use is actually being made less political than it had been by actually going after people, even if they are an ally of America. But here is a Khan.
Dignity of the individual is the protection of babies. I mean, these are fundamental American values that should engender bipartisan support. Now, of course, this situation, unfortunately, lies on the San Andreas fault of international politics and strategic interests. And of course, I've had some elected leaders speak to me and be very blunt. This court is built for Africa and for thugs like Putin, was what one senior leader told me. We don't view it like that. This court is the legacy of Nuremberg. This court is a sad indictment of humanity. This court should be the triumph of law over power and brute force. Grab what you can, take what you want, do what you will. And we're going to simply be, we're not going to be dissuaded by threats or any other activities, because in the end we have to fulfill our responsibilities as prosecutors, as the men and women of the office, as judges, as the registry.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, and it's for Steven Crowder to be taking the opposite position. It's so and I had this tweet kind of go semi-viral about the Ole Miss frat boys that were counter-protesting the Palestinians, pro-Palestine protesters. Like, how fucking dare you do that in the name of this country?
Yeah.
And like to the extent that like I can believe in America and American values, it is not that shit. It is opposed to that. It is exactly what these people standing up for Palestinian liberation are standing for. How dare you? How dare you like pose as this some America first person and drag this country through this shit again? Like, I mean, it is so it's so despicable, and I don't know how they live with themselves. I mean, I guess it's just like kill Muslims. That's what we like.
I mean, it's a complete detachment from reality and humanity. I mean, I'll just say it again. I mean, for these guys to operate, they have to operate at such a high level of cynicism that again, everything is funny, right? A mother crying about their dead child is very funny to folks like this, right? I mean, it is a real severance of these folks and their immortal soul. I mean, that is like the level of shit that these folks have gone into. And I don't know if we're going to get into like theology or anything like that later, Matt, with these guys, but it really is such a suffocation of that internal moral voice that I believe that all people have inside of them, and it's something that has to be killed if you want to be somebody like that, if you want to be a monster like. And I think,
yeah.
and, not that we need to repeat it for this audience. It is extremely important what's going on with the ICC on the level of stopping this genocide in Gaza. But two, what was just being said there in that clip, that a Western official was saying, "Oh, this court is for Africa and for Putin." To like, there might be, there's a lot of reasons to be cynical about international law, the way that's been carried out. I mean, what country is very clearly not a signatory here? The one we're sitting in, right? Because
Yeah.
so
Well,
like
and
there's
like Crowder's talking about rogue administrations. Like, I mean, which one are you talking about? Like
Mhm.
breaking international law? But like, are you talking? Like, I could say Biden is a rogue administration breaking international law by my definitions. I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
But no, absolutely. But I mean, what I'm saying here is that like if anything could turn some of these things into something that is more universalist, is more international, is willing to take on these forces. It's something like this where so many like leaders in so many countries around the world are saying no. We're not going to participate in this charade anymore, and that's exactly what this kind of thing is setting up. So it's important on the immediate sense and in the long term, potentially.
Yeah, and like to the extent like the America represented anything in the popular imagination, it was the forefront of freedom from say feudalism or something like
Hmm.
that, right?
Yeah.
That as an icon, and the idea that we and like Crowder is helping to you know basically arrest the momentum of the next liberation that needs to happen, which is that actually it isn't just for Joseph Kony that we do
Hmm.
this shit. It's
Hmm.
actually for the ethnic cleansing that we all fucking see happening. That Steven Crowder's too big of a pussy to comment on, and all those little like Christian Zionist freaks like that. I mean, should be chased to the hills. And like it really is. It, but yes, exactly. That's the point to underline is thank God. I mean, not only like that this has happened and we get warrants on Israeli leaders, but that actually these things that have if you would say something like, oh yeah, these sorts of international law, it's not sincere. It's rule. It's actually just technology for projecting force into parts of the world that we want more control over.
Mm.
That's being proven, that's being tested now, and you see certain countries, Germany sort of trying to say like we don't like that they asked for the arrest warrants, but we also respect the independence of the court. You have other countries being more forthright, like we mentioned Norway saying like we have to arrest them. I mean, none of these countries want, I mean, even the way they put that, if there is an arrest warrant against Netanyahu and Gallant from
Mhm.
the Hague, we will have to arrest them. But this is how these things get tested, and I agree with Stephen Crowder that this is a moment for the liberal international order. I am on the side of it should be able to stop a genocide that is being done with. I mean, even if it wasn't being done with billions of our tax dollars, I still think like maybe the world should come together to stop it. That we keep having to rearm this shit every few weeks I think makes it all the more urgent.
Absolutely. And that's the answer. That's all we get from Crowder about this big claim to say something like the ICC and to not like fulfill that at all. It's pretty wild.
No, they move into a bit about the international criminal something or another. I mean, I'll just show you the quality of the riff that's that. So they really got some stuff in.
Oh, they got their comedy writers in there. Oh my.
So that's the ICC gayness explained. And I just think it's interesting. Stephen Crowder gayness brought up both this and his very first video, and also Lindsey Graham. Just some interesting collection of elements going on in the story.
Yeah.